The homeless crisis in this country is well documented. We talk about it on this show all the time. But what happens to the homeless crisis when there's a pandemic on top of it? Ratil Agassi from the Wise Place is here to talk a little bit about that. And what's very interesting about Wise Place is that you serve females who are in this vulnerable position. So I want to talk to you, Ratil. First of all, thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Let's talk about what you're seeing on the front lines of this. We know homelessness is a problem. Tell me about what's going on now.
Sure. Wise Place, homelessness doesn't stop for a pandemic, and so neither does Wise Place. And for those that don't know, we are the only organization in Orange County that's solely focused on alleviating homelessness for unaccompanied women. And 42% of the women that we serve have chronic health issues, and a large majority, over 40%, are over 55 years old. So we're really serving the most vulnerable women, especially at a time like COVID-19.
Mm-hmm. So tell me, how do you handle that? I mean, like you're saying, those numbers and those demographics that you're talking about are literally what the CDC says are the most vulnerable and susceptible to COVID-19. So how are you keeping them safe, and have any of your residents become ill with COVID?
I'm so grateful to say, the days all blend together, but what are we, 60 days in, 60 days plus in, and we have not had a single woman who's been, having symptoms or that has COVID-19. That includes our 50 plus person team, because we are a 24-hour, 7 shelter, so we never close. We are open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So just to take a step back before we talk about COVID in particular, at Wise Place, we currently run 2 programs, an emergency shelter as well as a transitional shelter. And we've been in the Santa Ana, Orange County community since the 1920s. For the majority of our existence of almost over 90 years, we've been a transitional shelter that helps women get and keep a job and rebuild. In March 2018, we were essentially handpicked by Judge Carter in the federal lawsuit. And then we opened up our doors to 60 additional women in a low barrier emergency shelter. So the work of housing solutions and wraparound services, that doesn't stop in a pandemic. If anything, the mental health services, the psychiatric services, the recovery services, all of those wraparound services, in addition to the shelter, are so much even that more important in a time like COVID-19.
We deal a lot with homeless advocates. It's been a large part of my career for the last, 5+ years, 6+ years. So we talk a lot about, with the experts, the wraparound services, the need for an actual, shelter, and what that actually does to the mental state of the people who are going into those facilities, and how important those wraparound additional services are to the success of transitioning out, which is the whole goal. The whole goal isn't just to have them sit in a shelter forever. The goal is for them to have what they need so they can move forward. So what have you done at the Wise Place that has helped speed up and or assist in that transition out that's different than everyone else?
Sure. We've done a lot. COVID-19 requires you to do everything as safely and as quickly as possible. So the first thing we did, because we are serving such a vulnerable population of women that have chronic health issues and are over 60, the first thing we did to keep everybody safe is we immediately thinned out the shelter. So what do I mean by that? We have essentially 2 very large open community shelters with communal bathrooms, with communal kitchens, and you can't have 102 people in a relatively close quarters during COVID-19. Yeah. So essentially what we did is we put humans first, and we knew that it would be extremely expensive, and we knew that we were spending about 4 times as much on a monthly basis as we were pre-COVID. And for a grassroots organization like Wise Place that has a huge financial burden, but we put people first. So humans come first at Wise Place. So we did the right thing, and we immediately made a target list of the women that were over 60 and regardless of age had any chronic health issues. And so what we did is we built kind of private partnerships with local motels in the area and started to put, say, a woman to a room with her own bathroom or 2 women to 1 room and a bathroom. So that's what I mean about thinning out the shelter. And we did that, mid-March. So we did it immediately because we knew that, lives were at stake.
Yeah. It's a wise move and a bold move, and obviously finances are a problem. And for a lot of organizations like yours, that's a real problem. But lastly, before we go, I want to just ask, tell me about your feeling about being involved with this community, and tell me what you see on a daily basis that keeps you coming back every day to work with this vulnerable population.
I'm feeling very tired, to be honest.
I bet.
This has definitely been the most challenging position, but it's challenging for a reason. And it's challenging because homelessness, regardless of COVID-19, is a healthcare related issue. It's really about human lives. And so I keep that in my heart and my mind every day. And I really pull from the success stories. Even during COVID-19, we have helped pay the first month's rent and deposit and helped so many women move into their own apartment, and their homelessness has ended. And so I lean on stories like somebody like Kristen, who, struggled with addiction and came from a family who had a cycle of poverty and a cycle of homelessness. But when she entered into Wise Place, she went through the wraparound services, and she's 8 years clean and sober. And she has helped her children stay clean and sober as well. And so through Kristen, after she went through the wraparound services of Wise Place, she broke that cycle of poverty, and she broke that cycle of homelessness. And there are, unfortunately in the media, you don't really hear stories like that, but I am so fortunate to witness stories and stand alongside women that are truly invested in taking advantage of all of the housing and wraparound services that Wise Place has to offer. And that, I see change, and it's possible every day. It truly is.
It must be an inspiration to be around that. That's wonderful. And I know Wise Place is always taking donations to continue your great work. So where can people go if they see this and feel inclined?
Yeah, wiseplace.org. Our website has so many opportunities where you can cook a meal, sponsor a meal. Right now, for less than $5 a day, you can support a woman have a healthy meal. Or financial donations, obviously, so that we can continue to house women and end cycles of homelessness. So wiseplace.org.
Rachael, thank you for all that you're doing. And I would love for you to come back when this is all over so we can really dig into the homelessness issue in California, which we know is huge right now.
Yeah, but good things are possible. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Stay safe.
Thanks, you too.